Apple's biggest product launch ever is about to happen in just a couple of days. Plus, I've got some bad news on the Apple Watch, I've got bad news for iPads, and rumors on the iPhone 16 have been really quiet lately. Why is that? Here's the biggest news happening in the wild world of Apple that you need to know about right now. So let's start with the bad news first and get that out of the way, and we probably should start first with the news on the Apple Watch. Now, in case you missed the news, the Apple Watch has been a bit of an issue for Apple lately after some courts ruled that they had in fact violated some patents held by health tech company Masimo, and they'd have to stop the sale of the Apple Watch in the US, at least temporarily, during one of the busiest shopping times of the year. So around the Christmas holiday shopping season, Apple was unable to sell their all-new Series 9 or Apple Watch Ultra 2 in Apple stores or online for a couple of days. Now, a couple of days after that ban went into place, another court did give Apple a temporary stay on that order, so they were allowed to resume sales once again. But this story is far from over, and what we're hearing right now is that Apple, quietly behind the scenes, is sort of admitting that they're probably in the wrong here. They lost, and before another big ban goes into place, they're just going to make one small little tweak to fix the Apple Watch's major issue, and that is by removing one of the biggest features of the Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2, the feature here in dispute, and that is the blood oxygen app that is on these all-new Apple Watches. It's being reported right now that new Apple Watches are sort of being tweaked with software to remove this feature, and if you were to go into the Apple Store and buy a Series 9 or Ultra 2, this feature just wouldn't exist, and Apple's gonna sort of quietly take it off of their website just to sort of comply with these recent rulings and to make sure another ban doesn't happen. And basically this puts Apple into a very interesting position. First off, they're sort of admitting defeat, something Apple never usually does, at least unless they're really sort of backed into a corner, which they are in this case. And also it means that they can either go back to the drawing board, totally re-engineer this feature to make sure no patents of Masimo's are in dispute with this feature, or what will likely happen is if Apple wants to continue using this feature on their Apple Watches, they're going to have to strike some sort of deal with Masimo to license those patents and that technology to continue with it on future Apple Watch models. So whether you're an Apple Watch fan or not, or whether you're an Apple fan or not, Apple's doing something they don't usually do, and they're admitting quietly they were wrong. Moving from bad news to more bad news is with the all-new iPad Pros. Now, some good news here is that new iPad Pros are finally coming here in 2024, likely in the spring. And also one of the big new features of iPad Pros this year is the move over to OLED technology for the display. So mini LED right now is bright, vibrant. iPad Pro displays are looking fantastic, but OLED is like next level. It's individual pixel level control over your content. Should look amazing. Apple has done some amazing OLED displays on the iPhone, so to bring that to the iPad is going to be great. But the bad news here is that with that all-new OLED display, potentially comes a huge price hike. According to the Elec, the iPad Pro 11-inch is going to jump from $799 to $1499, and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is going to jump from $1099 all the way up to $1799. Now, Apple has never been afraid to price items as they think they should be, and Vision Pro at $3,500 certainly isn't cheap. But I don't also think that it totally makes a lot of sense to have this big of a year-to-year jump. To go from $799 to almost doubling in price to what was that, $1499 for the 11-inch iPad Pro does seem a little bit crazy. And while it certainly is not off the table in sort of, being a possibility for this year, I'm a little skeptical if that price hike, at least that significant, is going to actually happen or not. What's also tough is that I don't know if the OLED display alone is going to be able to justify a price increase that's significant. I mean, yeah, you get the OLED display, which would be great. You probably get the M3 chip in there as well, probably more RAM, better camera, stuff like that. But again, a price increase that's significant should warrant some more features, like a ton of accessories built in there too. So just putting it out there that might happen. Also, according to the same publication, the Elec, they say we would see these new iPad Pros in the spring, which sort of maybe gives some credibility to a spring event event possibly happening in March or April, so that would be very cool to see. And again, at the spring event, we could get a couple other new products. New AirPods are rumored to be coming in 2024. iPad Airs should be coming, a new 12.9-inch model, which should be fantastic. Potentially some new M3 Max and stuff like that. So seems like Vision Pro is going to sort of take up Apple's brain power and marketing power for the first couple months of the year, but then moving into the spring, we should sort of shift gears to iPads, AirPods, and maybe some other cool other products later on this year. And speaking of Vision Pro, that's sort of the elephant in the room right now, because the closer we get to the official launch on February 2nd, it's coming up fast, things are both exciting and confusing for this Apple mixed reality headset. And as of right now, you will have to have a modern Apple device with Face ID to do some scans of your face to sort of get the right measurements or maybe get the right light seal, or for some reason they need a scan of your face to order this thing. Or I guess alternatively, you could probably go into an Apple store and they would do it there as well. Also some good news for my fellow glasses wearer out there. Glasses wearers? There we go. My glasses fanatics out there. We're learning that the Zeiss optical inserts are only $150, which actually, all things considered, isn't too bad given the price of this headset. And we're learning that you should be able to upload a copy of your prescription to the Apple Store app or website, but we are hearing that Apple stores will stock at least some lenses for demo purposes, but it's unclear if you can walk into a store and be able to buy those or if you have to do that online. I should also mention that if you're thinking of ordering one of these Vision Pro headsets, be prepared to not only spend a lot of money, like $3,500, but also be prepared for a very tough time trying to get one. According to Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, Apple is only making 60 to 80,000 of these headsets for its initial release. And as of recording this video, all configurations have had their shipping dates slipped to dates in March. But if you want to try one way sooner than that, you should be able to do that inside of your local Apple store. Mark Urban over at Bloomberg has got some details on what this process will be like, and basically, according to him, Apple is preparing for like these 25-minute demos of Vision Pro at Apple retail stores that you could go in, even if you're a glasses wearer, you're gonna get fitted for this thing, get it comfortable, and then be able to go through a demo of what Vision Pro is like. And while this is exciting, and it probably is necessary for a device this expensive, it is a little bit complicated because 25 minutes to commit at an Apple store is a really long time and just goes to show sort of the awkward phase we're in right now. You can't walk into a store and just buy this thing like you would an iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch. Those are grab and go. This is a totally new experience. No one really knows how it works, what the gestures or commands are, how the accessories work, how do you even turn it on and boot it up. There's a lot of explaining to do. Just like the initial iPhone, you sort of had to rework your brain on how a cell phone worked. Vision Pro is sort of reprogramming your brain for how to do, basically everything in this new spatial computing environment. So there will be some demos. That's going to be nice, and hopefully we'll learn more about that soon, but it's a little awkward. 25 minutes, a whole setup process. Where are you going to go in the store? It's just awkward. We're in a very awkward phase, but Apple is very much hoping it's well worth it, and Vision Pro is, according to them, they're hoping a really big success in the years to come. Just Gen 1 is going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride. Finally, a couple of other positive stories for Apple to round things out. For the very first time, Apple has actually beat Samsung in units sold for 2023. So Apple actually dethroned Samsung, who held that title for 13 years. So Apple has beat Samsung. And also on the iPhone 16 front, I've seen some comments down below with people asking, what's going on? We haven't heard anything about that. What is the latest on the iPhone 16? Well, I've chronicled like all of the leaks in previous videos. I'll leave a link down below. But I'll tell you right now, no news is sort of good news. Basically how Apple works is that they're working usually about a year or so, even more ahead, to get these phones locked in. And right now they are sort of getting the final components ready. They're finalizing the design and features before they begin limited engineering validation production later on in the spring. So they are hard at work on this as of right now. And because it hasn't entered any sort of production, it's more contained inside of Apple. So there's less chance of leaks and stuff like that, though. As soon as it does enter the more advanced stages, that's when we get the bigger leaks. So the bigger leaks will happen in the spring, but iPhone 16 still looking exciting. We've got 4 models, potentially an Ultra model, some big improvements to the camera, potentially some new buttons on the Pros. Lots of exciting things coming with the iPhone 16. As soon as I've got more info, I will let you know. But as of right now, everything is going as normal, and we should know more about these all new phones very, very soon. All right, folks, so that is sort of the Apple news of the week that you need to know about. Bit of a bumpy week for Apple. Hopefully things get better here with the launch of Vision Pro, but gonna be interesting to see how this Apple Watch saga plays out. Hopefully we get some news on iPhone 16 soon. And of course, Vision Pro, it's the big story of the week. Are you pre-ordering? Are you not? Are you gonna go to the Apple Store and camp out to try to get one? Are you not interested at all for a device really that expensive? Let me know down below. As always, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.